Hello, my dirty little... fashion. Hello, my dirty little dumplings, and welcome back to Brian Abroad. So I haven't made a video for this channel in a pretty long time. Why is that, you ask? Well, it's mostly because of the COVID restrictions here. If you're following this channel, then you probably already know that I live in China. And in the particular area of China that I'm in, for the longest time, kids were only taking classes online, restaurants were closed, bars were closed, everything was closed. Not everything, but like the things that there were to do are not really things that I would film a video about. Hello, my dirty little dumplings, and welcome back to Brian Abroad. In today's video, I'm walking in my community to throw my trash away. Hello, my dirty little dumplings, and welcome back to Brian Abroad. In today's video, I'm at the grocery store buying potato chips. Technically, I think I already kind of made that video, but whatever. Now that the restrictions have eased up a little, I was finally able to travel for the first time in forever. Recently, my camera shy friend Rick and I...
Alright, you're on camera now. This is the moment you've been dreading. Excuse me, sir. Can you add my WeChat? 帅哥你好，你可以加我微信吗?
traveled to the cities of Qingdao and Yantai on the east coast of mainland China. It's just a few hours away on China's high-speed rail, which is truly one of the best things about traveling in China. You can basically take it anywhere in the country, and it's super fast and not very expensive. And it's nowhere near as big of a hassle as flying. Our first day in Qingdao, we arrived kind of late, so we didn't do a lot. First, we went to check out the sea. The waves were super crazy here. There was even a plaque here dedicated to someone who died trying to save someone else who got swept into the water. Actually, while I was editing this video, a news story appeared online about 2 students who were swept out to sea in this exact location about a week after we were there. We did find a slightly more hospitable part further down where we saw a cute doggo, found some sea glass, and climbed some rocks. It was my first time to see the ocean from mainland China, and since I grew up by the ocean in America, I was pretty happy. At night, the buildings in the city turned into a giant light show, so we went to an area called Wuse Guangchang to watch it. It literally means May 4th Square, so as a Star Wars fan, I felt pretty at home. Right after we got there, it was time for the light show. There was also some sort of drone show going on, but we were too far away to really make it out. While we were there, some random teenager came up to us and asked me where I was from, and when I told him I was from America, he took out his phone and started showing me pictures of every NBA basketball player and quizzing me on them. I literally know nothing about basketball. When I was stuck in America for a year during the start of the pandemic, I would occasionally watch a game here and there with my brother, and the whole time I'd just be like, wow, they sure are playing basketball. Basically, I was making an awkward situation even worse by being like, oh, I know him, that's the one that throws the ball in the net. Then he got to the Kobe picture and I was like, oh, I know that one. That's Kobe Bryant. And he was like, yeah, but he's gone now. That seemed like a pretty good time to walk away from the conversation. Further past May 4th Square is the Qingdao Olympic Sailing Center, which was used in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. This area provides some great views of the city and the light show. There's also this huge replica of the Olympic torch here. This area also has all kinds of little shops and restaurants. By the way, if you can't take me to dinner coffee and get our own private cube on our first date, then just don't even bother asking, okay? We also saw a lot of street performers here. A lot of people will probably be disappointed by this, but we ate a lot of hotel food on this trip. Qingdao is super famous for seafood, but neither myself or Rick are big fans of seafood. So unfortunately, you won't be seeing a whole lot of that in today's video. I'm so sorry. For day 2 of our trip, we set out from the hotel and rode the subway down to the Qingdao Beer Museum. As you may have already guessed, Qingdao is the home of Qingdao or Tsingtao beer, and you will see signs of it everywhere you go in Qingdao. especially around the museum.
We're not even inside yet and the whole street already smells like Qingdao beer.
All right, so it's our first full day here in Qingdao, and here we are at the Qingdao Beer Museum. So we're gonna go in and learn about Qingdao beer. Once inside, our first stop was Fantasy at the End of Time. Ooh, sexy anime boys are busy at work making my beer. To be honest, I have no idea what this had to do with Qingdao beer, but I think Rick was having fun.
This is what it's like to be swimming in Qingdao beer. I'm feeling drunk already.
I think the strangest room here was probably the coloring room.
Can you wake up the keg? Hello? Ooh, oh, and Mario sounds. Oh my gosh, he just evolved.
We found out a little too late that we were supposed to be using these giant paintbrushes to bring the sad beer ingredients back to life.
I'm the champion of coloring.
When our Fantasy at the End of Time was finished, we spent some time exploring the factory grounds.
I mean, if there's not a panda, is it even China? They almost make it look like by drinking this, you're gonna be like a super strong Iron Man, when really you're just gonna be like a sloppy person in the streets. And you're definitely not gonna have those abs.
Before heading inside to learn about the history and the brewing process of Qingdao beer. It's understandable why Qingdao beer is so important to Qingdao. In a lot of ways, the history of Qingdao and the history of Qingdao beer are one and the same. In the late 1800s, the Germans took control of Qingdao, and in 1903, they established the Qingdao branch of the German Brewery Company. There were some problematic marketing materials linked to this period, which the museum sort of addresses, but not really.
They actually have some information here about the whole absolutely pure thing. German elements with a strong colonial atmosphere is an interesting way to say Nazism, but that's okay.
After the start of World War I, Japan took control of Qingdao and turned the brewery into the Dainippon Beer Company. Qingdao was finally liberated in 1949, and the brewery was taken over by the local government. Since then, Qingdao beer has gone on to win several awards and accolades in China and around the world. In some ways, Qingdao beer can be seen as a symbol of China's strength and perseverance. The museum gives a really good introduction to how the beer was made then and now.
We have come to collect your awards.
And there are lots of different displays and exhibits to teach you about everything from the ingredients, to brewing, to fermentation, to storage, all the way up to the modern day bottling and canning process.
Uh-oh, we lost a couple.
And of course, the tour ends with a free glass of Qingdao beer.
They just started playing Big Bang, so I know I'm in the right place. Really good. I feel like now that I know everything that I know about Qingdao beer, I can taste the hops, the yeast, the 7-step water cleaning process water. I'm a real connoisseur now.
There were some other things that I found really interesting at the museum. I really liked seeing all of the different bottles and can designs that they had here on display. I also thought it was kind of weird how many small children were here.
We were just taking some photos of our beer cups and 2 little kids walked by and we're like, ooh, my drink is ready.
But I guess you're never too old or too young for a Qingdao beer.
Qingdao beer is fun for the whole family. Bring your grandma, bring your kids. You want a beer, Johnny?
I also really love this sign.
The ancient Egyptians enjoying some Qingdao beer.
And this hologram lady.
She's like the Snow White of beer.
And I learned that there's a Qingdao bottling plant here in Beijing as well. We also got to try some beer ice cream while we were here. I got the raw beer flavor, and Rick got the dark beer, or Hey Pea flavor.
Okay, here goes. Wow, it really does taste exactly like beer. It's pretty good. It has like a really milky aftertaste, so I feel like some of like the beer effect kind of wears off after a second. It's like fruit stripe gum, but I can definitely taste the beer. How's your Hey Pea? Like Hey Pea.
The museum also had a drunken house.
I think this is actually the house I grew up in. Oh my gosh. Are you drunk? So like, it's just a house with a slanted floor and I can't tell if it's moving or something, but there's like a huge pull in this direction. And it's actually making me feel dizzy just to be here.
This bicycle I didn't quite understand the point of.
Are you delivering the beer? Why do you only have one arm?
And a 4D theater.
No trip to the beer museum would be complete without visiting the 4D beer theater. I just realized when I was trying to film that I only have one lens.
To be honest, I'm not really sure what I was supposed to learn from watching this movie, but I think that at some point it was showing us the future that we could have if we would just like stop trying to regulate women's bodies. The museum also has a gift store with all kinds of Qingdao beer merchandise.
She's a 10, but she's a tipsy beauty. I would buy this one if it didn't say Qingdao is coming, because then it sounds like a serial killer is chasing you or something, or like a national holiday is on the way.
When my Nana was still alive, she used to travel all over the place and bring back these 3D magnets, so I got this one with the beer and the barbecue on it in her honor. I was considering buying a few other things while I was here.
I'm so tempted by these because I'm totally like a cup and a magnet kind of girl.
But ultimately decided against it. Overall, a very nice day at the Qingdao Beer Museum. After the museum, we went to a cafe called Something Space that had some really creative food and drinks, as well as a really great view of the ocean. Then we headed to Badaguan, an area famous for its different styles of architecture from around the world. It's here where I found the castle from Rocky Horror, saw some nice sculptures, found a wild cat that I just had to say hello to.
Hi, kitty kitty. Oh, hi baby.
And like most places I went to on this trip, there were some really great views of the ocean.
Anime girls in the water.
And anime girls. Then we headed to Xiaomaidao, which is basically just a little island connected to Qingdao by a bridge where people can chill out, look at the ocean, listen to street performers, accidentally get your only pair of shoes wet, and oh yeah, see this anchor.
This anchor is like the most phallic anchor I've ever seen in my life. Who made this?
We ended the night by having some Chinese barbecue.
Whoa, the smoke.
And of course, some Qingdao beer.
We ordered this combo that comes with this, and we don't know what it is, or if it's meat, or vegetable, or whatever. So I'm gonna try it, and hopefully it's good. I still have no idea. It just tastes like the barbecue spices. Anything extra is like absolutely not discernible.
Even if we didn't always know what we were eating, it was still a pretty delicious way to end the night. Day 3 was all about Mount Laoshan, which takes a pretty long time to get to from the city. One very long train ride, a bus ride, and 2 statues of mostly naked children eating soft serve later, we finally arrived.
Our first stop is the cable car castle to take our lazy asses to the top of the mountain. So we're on our way up to the top of the mountain. We have the ocean behind us, and they're pumping in some soft music so you can think existentially about life while you go to the top. Kind of nice. So in my experience here, usually when you take the cable car in one of these places, it brings you like part of the way up or most of the way up. So right now we're walking, I think 800 meters to the top. And Summer and I, we don't really see eye to eye on a lot of things. I'm not a summer person. I wish that I could like reverse hibernate, like instead of sleeping for the winter, just like sleeping through the summer and waking up when it's not 100 degrees every day. So I'm a little hot right now and a little sweaty. And like, it's not really sunny out, but I'm really committed to these new sunglasses that I just bought. It's like the first time I've ever actually owned sunglasses in my entire life. And they kind of make me look like the king of the asshole people, which isn't intended, but like, they're so dark. I don't even know if it's sunny. I think that means they're working on like my body right now. So yeah, that's what's up now. They have a special kind of cola here in Laoshan called Laoshan Cola, and we saw a bunch of people selling it. It's probably like super overpriced because we're in a tourist area, but this is like where you get it. So at some point in this video, I'll probably be trying that out too, if I survive. Wow, this rock formation is really cool though. 5-finger stone. We just found this little path over here that kind of lets you see out onto the ocean too, which is really nice.
From here we made our way up the staircase to the highest part of the mountain.
Someone's flying a drone that literally sounds like an angry swarm of bees, and every time it goes by, everyone freaks out. And this is the view of the ocean from the top of Mount Laoshan.
Rick and I were talking about how cool it was, how you couldn't really tell where the sky ended and where the sea began. Probably the most memorable thing that happened here is that while I was trying to take footage of myself at the top of the mountain, a random woman came up to me and asked me to take a picture with her daughter because they had never seen a foreigner before. I am the Mickey Mouse of Mount Laoshan. Then it was time to head back down.
It's gonna be a tight squeeze. You're gonna be smaller when you get to the other side.
And get some Laoshan Kele, or Laoshan Cola.
Okay, I got my Laoshan Cola here. It was 10 RMB on the mountain, but it was only 5 RMB when we got back down. So I saved 5 RMB, and now I'm gonna try it out. It definitely doesn't taste like Coca-Cola or something like that, but it tastes kind of like when you buy the store brand of Coca-Cola to save some money, and then you get Laoshan Cola. It tastes kind of like Coca-Cola, but then with this aftertaste of this like Goya soda that I used to buy in America sometimes. It was just called like Cola Champagne or something like that. It gives me like a very sweet Goya soda aftertaste, but beforehand it's like Pepsi. Actually, yeah, maybe more Pepsi than Coca-Cola.
We also took another bus trip on this mountain to take some pictures of this really colorful old fishing village. And that was pretty much a wrap on our last full day in Qingdao. On day 4 of our trip, we had to catch a train to Yantai, but before we left, we quickly saw 2 things that we had wanted to see before we left. The first was St. Michael's Cathedral, a church built by the Germans in 1934. I'm not religious, but I do love the architecture of churches, and it's not every day that you get to see one in China. Also, you could really see the German influence in all of the architecture of this area. And I found a message that I think we could all use in our daily lives.
The world will never meal me again.
The second attraction was Jianqiao Pier, Qingdao's first pier built and used by the Germans for loading goods. At the end of the bridge is the pavilion that is actually used in the logo for Qingdao beer. After checking out the pier, it was time to run to the station, catch a train, and ride off to Yantai. As soon as we arrived, they made everyone do a COVID test. Then it was off to the hotel, where yes, we ate more hotel food.
I'm so glad they have my favorite dish here.
After dinner, we headed out to explore the beach and watch literally the most amazing sunset.
I've taken like 800 videos and photos of this, but I just can't get over how awesome the sunset looks.
And not only was there a rainbow,
Wow! Happy Pride Month, y'all. Oh wait, that passed already.
but we saw a double rainbow.
You guys, there's a double rainbow. Can you see it?
The beach here is almost like an art exhibit. It goes on for miles and miles, and as you're walking, you just keep encountering more and more interesting sculptures and structures. I'm pretty sure that this one is the Mind Flare from Stranger Things, but there were all kinds of other cool installations to look at. And of course, it wouldn't be China if grandmas and grandpas weren't dancing it up in the park at night. The next morning, we headed off to Penglai Pavilion. I was trying to show you guys these cool trees on the road that almost look like bonsai trees, but then this happened. Then I wanted to show you guys these castles we drove by, and this happened. Oh well, at least I got to see a Pikachu.
Pikachu?
It took us about 45 minutes to arrive at Penglai Pavilion. The first area of the pavilion is dedicated to a warrior known as Qi Jiguang, who successfully defended the coast from the Japanese during the Ming Dynasty. After learning about his different skills and contributions, and seeing some of the ancient weapons and other artifacts from his time,
Okay, I will.
we stopped to get some ice cream that looks like the actual pavilion.
You think mine is in better shape than yours?
Yep.
Do you want to go back and ask for a refund? Let's try our Penglai Pavilion shaped ice cream. What are those things that we had when I was a kid? Like hoodsies, where it was like half chocolate and half vanilla? It tastes like that kind of chocolate ice cream. It's giving me like childhood nostalgia vibes, even though I'm eating pavilion shaped ice cream in China. How's your milk flavored ice cream? Does it taste like milk?
Definitely, yes.
Like really milky? In a gross way or a good way?
I think it's pretty good.
Is it worth 15 RMB?
No.
I apologize for the amount of chocolate that will probably be on my face for the whole rest of this video.
Then we headed off to explore the rest of the complex.
I'm already a little confused because there's just so many different ways to go.
Luckily, Rick was on the job, infiltrating a tour group to get all of the tea. Originally built in 1061, Penglai Pavilion is one of the 4 famous pavilions of China. The complex contains numerous temples, towers, palaces, and pagodas. Penglai Pavilion is also heavily associated with the 8 Immortals, a group of celestial beings from Chinese mythology who are said to have crossed the sea here using their magic powers. Another cool thing about Penglai Pavilion is that you can actually take a cable car over the sea here to the bell tower on the other side of the mountain. Taking a cable car over the sea isn't the only thing you can do here.
So we should have filmed this, but we didn't. But like, I'm pretty proud of our haggling skills because we just walked by a random group of old women who are selling speedboat tickets to go around this other tourist area that we really want to visit, but we don't have time. And we were thinking like, well, maybe we can find a boat that goes around the perimeter, and then like we don't even need to walk around. We can just see everything from the outside, and then we can continue on with the rest of our adventure here. And we got them to go down on the price because I'm American, and you know, I just pretend like I'm a tourist. I've never been here before. And she's screaming at us, I think, from up there because we're walking the wrong way right now. But we're gonna take a speedboat around this other attraction that we want to see, and then we'll find something else to do here. Truth be told, I did this kind of a thing in Lanzhou, and it like really hurt my body. So I'm like kind of excited and also kind of like praying for my health and well-being at the same time. Our chariot awaits. So the speedboat like took us to the actual tourist destination, and we decided that we wanted to go inside. And then like a bunch of people basically took us to a booth and like made us scan a bunch of things, and it felt kind of like maybe our kidneys were gonna end up on the black market, especially because we came in like this weird back entrance on a speedboat. But it's totally legit, and now we're inside. A really nice woman gave us like a little brief introduction and told us where we could go to take pictures, and now we're here.
Eight Immortals Crossing the Sea Scenic Area is another area of Penglai dedicated to the Eight Immortals. Although it might look old and historical, it's actually modernly built. Similar to Penglai Pavilion, it also contains all kinds of towers, temples, gardens, and of course, ocean views.
So we made it to the top of the pagoda here, but we're a little confused about how you get inside the pagoda. Okay, we found it. We're going straight to the top. We made it! Wow, the ocean's so beautiful. They gave this man cigarettes to hold. I'm trying to show you guys like the beautiful ocean view and all the statues and the temples outside, but I know that in the back of the video, all you can hear is me breathing like Michael Myers, because I just climbed a million stairs and it's 100 degrees outside, and I feel like I'm gonna die. Look at all the birds on top of the structure here. There's one at the very, very top, chilling. Yes, look at all the beautiful flowers.
There were a few other buildings here for us to explore, as well as one very random sea lion exhibit. And then we headed off to our final destination for the day, Wencheng Castle.
The gate is so tall I had to basically go back to Beijing to be able to fit it in frame, but we finally arrived at Wencheng Castle. This is so cool, and I can definitely say that I've never seen a castle in China before.
Although it looks like an ancient castle, it was actually built in 2017 by Canadian-Chinese Li Wencheng, an interior designer who invested $9 million to have the castle built. Li visited many countries throughout Europe, and his inspiration from those countries is clear in the architecture and furnishings of the castle. Today, Wencheng Castle is used as a hotel and meeting space, and was featured in the 2018 film Hello, Mr. Billionaire.
We just took the elevator to the 7th floor, and I definitely feel like I'm in the Haunted Mansion. Oh my god, I thought this was a mirror, and it's actually a window to the whole hall below us. That is so cool. Ghost orbs. Anyone here want to make contact with us? I absolutely 1,000,000% feel like I'm in a horror movie right now. And I love every second of it.
After seeing the castle, it was time to head back for some more delicious hotel food before calling it a night. With the time we had before our train home the next day, we decided to head down to the beach, since that is what most people come to Yantai for, and we hadn't really even tested the water yet.
So I know this looks stupid because I'm walking in the water dressed and with a backpack on, but that's because I sunburn so easily that I have to wear a shirt. And also the water here is not deep. We're walking out pretty far. As you're walking, you get higher, and then you reach a point where even though you're like in the middle, the water is actually shallower than on the way here. It's kind of weird. So maybe not the best situation for swimming and submerging yourself. I feel like I'd have to like lay on my stomach at the bottom of the ocean. But the water's really warm, and I'm loving being by the ocean. and the view is amazing. So all in all, I'd say a good way to spend the last day of the trip, as long as I don't drop my phone in the water.
But as someone who grew up by the ocean in Massachusetts, I couldn't help but having my Little Mermaid moment. Then it was time to take the train back to Beijing. After randomly getting stopped on the way to the station to be asked questions about COVID. Rick and I were headed off to different destinations, so we said goodbye at the station, and because I was curious to see how the other half lived, I decided to ride home first class. Please enjoy this montage of me testing out all the features included in a first class seat. And if you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit that thumbs up, click the subscribe button, and ring the bell so that you get notified when I upload another video here on this channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.